So we have our smoke, we have our flare. We got a pretty cool looking little effect here. And again, that would work okay, just how it is. But we want this to have a little bit of anticipation too. We want him to kind of start glowing before the actual flash here. So what we're going to do is just make a solid color around the general shape of his arm and have it kind of colorize his arm. We can do that probably anywhere in our nodes, but we'll do it right before our smoke. We'll just grab a background node and merge it over. Select the background node, and we're going to pick sort of a cyan color. Something like that. And then in our merge, under apply mode, we'll select maybe soft light. And we can blend this down, because what we're really wanting to do is just kind of colorize this. Something like that maybe. And now we're just going to mask around this shape. And it doesn't really even have to be that great, because it's going to be really fast and he doesn't move a whole lot. And I think we'll just mask right on the background. So let's select our background here, and we'll select a polygon mask. And up here, we're just going to draw around his arm. So we'll start here. And we're going to do a really rough outline of the gun and his arm, his hand, his sleeve. And there we have our kind of solid color. We're going to soften this edge a little bit. Just kidding, we're going to soften it quite a lot. I don't know, probably 0.02, so that there's just kind of that glow. And because this is soft and he doesn't really move a whole lot in these few frames, we don't really even have to do much to animate it. We could go through and animate it. And how you do that is just select the polygon mask and make sure it's good at frame 0. It automatically adds a keyframe when you add a mask. And then we'll move over to frame 10 right before he's gone. We can just select all of this, move it around. And just kind of put everything where it should be. Again, this is going to be so quick that you almost just don't even have to do this really. So you can do like a decent job and it's still going to be fine. Okay, something like that. And it generally follows his movement. And it's so soft that nobody's going to notice if it's off a little bit. That's a cheap little kind of glow effect. And we're going to take this merge and we're going to blend it down after frame 10. So at frame 10, that's going to be full blend. And then the frame after, maybe we'll even do 2 frames after, we'll blend that all the way back down. So now it kind of leaves a silhouette of his arm there for just a second. And then right here at frame 0, we're going to blend this all the way down so that that glow kind of starts over time. It gets more and more glowy, and then boom, it's out. So let's look at this full motion. Pretty subtle, but he starts to glow that cyan, and then he disappears. Looking pretty sick. Let's rename our nodes so we don't get lost. This is called cyan background. This will be like a glow MRG. Let's call this cyan glow, so it's a little easier. This will be arm mask. That's a polygon mask. All right, we are doing pretty good here. Next thing I think we'll do is add some sparks, which we already have some imported into our project here under sparks. Let's grab probably any of these sparks, and we'll put this down in front of our flare, rename this sparks MI, and merge this over. Really, a lot of these aren't going to matter the exact order that you put them in. There are situations where it would matter if you want to have an effect applied to certain elements, but not others. You're going to want to stack these differently, but a lot of these are kind of just building on each other and won't make a big difference whether we put them before or after. And a lot of them happen at different times too, so it's not that important. These sparks, we're going to switch our apply mode to, let's do color dodge. Color dodge is good if you want something to be like really kind of bright. And so something like sparks, this is what color dodge looks like versus screen. Color dodge is generally a little bit harsher. So, you know, they're sort of interchangeable. It kind of just depends on what looks better for you. I think I'm going to use color dodge right now because I like how this is just really sharp looking. We could probably also use that for the flare. Play around with it, see what you like. But right here where this spark starts, we have this kind of coming in from the side, which isn't really what we want. So we can actually just take like the second part of this maybe. Like maybe we'll just take this frame right here and we'll start right there. So switch over to our keyframes. And down here where it says sparks, we'll again just trim this to start right there. And then we're going to move this over so it starts at frame 11. So now at frame 11, it's going to shoot sparks basically. But let's grab our merge one for our sparks, close our keyframes, and we'll move this over so that all the sparks and everything start right here, right where this lens flare is. And now, boom, kind of shoots sparks. These sparks are probably a little big, so in the merge, we'll just size these down. Something like that. Boom. And now there's just a little extra element there that gives it a little bit more reality where it shoots sparks. That's pretty cool. Now we got to fix a couple things with these sparks. One is that they're orange, which you could keep as a stylistic thing. I don't hate that, but maybe we want everything to be kind of this cyan color. Let's adjust the colors of our sparks. Let's select Sparks Media In, and we're going to add a color corrector to it. So down here, this little wheel here is a color corrector. Let's grab that and put that in between sparks and our merge. And with our color corrector selected, let's go up to the inspector. And this is really important. Make sure to go over to options and click pre-divide post multiply. Sometimes the color corrector acts weird and will like color correct everything in the shot instead of just what you want to color correct. Make sure to click pre-divide post multiply to actually make that do what it should do. Now we're just going to scroll down to here where it says hue, and we're just going to hue shift this to be more of a cyanish kind of blue color, something like that. For me, it's 0.44. And now we have those blue sparks instead of the orange sparks. That's cool. The other problem with our sparks is if we go through here, we see they're actually in front of this shelf, which means it looks like we just threw video over it, which, you know, might be realistic. It might shoot sparks this way, but it's a little bit easier to justify if we just do a mask real quick. This is a great situation to just use a rectangle mask. So down in our nodes, let's select this merge, and we're just going to add a rectangle mask to it right here just by clicking that. We'll put the mask under the merge, select the rectangle, and then up here in our viewer, let's just line up these sides here so that it cuts off any of these sparks that are that would be going behind our shelf, just like that. So now those sparks don't go in front of our shelf. A little bit more believable. Great. This is looking pretty sick. Ooh, one more thing actually is I don't know how realistic it is that the smoke is in front of this like bleach bottle, and we can add another mask to it. So we can just select our rectangle and add a polygon node, and we're just going to trace around this bottle here just so we don't have any problems. This is the right way to do it. We've gotten away with plenty of things here, and we'll just do roughly on the other side. We want this edge to be just great. And now we can use this polygon mask, we scroll down, to limit what our other mask does. So let's select polygon mask and hit 1 on the keyboard, and that'll bring up our mask here in the left-hand viewer. And this will show you what it's masking. Anytime that you draw a mask, you're really making an image that's black and white. And Fusion is looking at that image and only doing whatever you're masking, whatever effect you're masking, where there are white pixels, and it's not doing it where there are black pixels. So what we want to do is allow this effect right here but not behind the bottle, which means that our bottle mask needs to be black and this needs to be white. So I'll actually bring this up in our second viewer just so we can see this on the recording a little easier while we're working with our inspector. Right here where it says paint mode, when you have a mask selected, you can change this around to adjust how the masks interact with each other if you have these stacked masks like we do. So right here where it says paint mode, where it says merge, let's say subtract. And what that's going to do is take this shape away from the first shape and give us what we want. Let's also zoom in this a little bit. And we probably want to soften this edge just a touch, something like that. Okay. Now let's take a look at our final comp here. And we have the smoke going all the way over here by the bottle, but not in front of it. Yeah. We could even take this mask over a little bit. So let's take this, let's just move this over just a touch. Again, this is something probably no one will notice, but we know we did a good job, don't we? That's actually just a little bit too soft, so we're just going to take that down a little bit. And now we have a little bit better movement there. All right, so now these sparks, everything works, and let's actually fade those out because what we want is mostly the sparks and a little bit of the smoke. So right here at frame 15, we're gonna keyframe the blend of our merge here. So that'll be at 1, and then by the time the smoke really starts floating up, let's turn it down. So now, boom. Now the smoke just disappears over time. Cool. That's looking pretty nice. Let's go down and make sure we have everything renamed. We'll call this Sparks Merge. This is going to be bottle. And this will be shelf mask. This color corrector will say cyan tint CC. All right.